My husband has strict weight requirements for me and makes me follow the diet plan he gives. As a result, I suffered from hormonal imbalance. And in the end, it even led to infertility. He comforted me. But unexpectedly, he soon had an affair with a woman outside and they had a child. I already had a poor physical condition due to 2 years of weight loss. And with the overwhelming anger, my health deteriorated rapidly. Eventually, I passed away at an early age. After my death, he couldn't wait to bring the woman and the child from outside back home. Fortunately, God has eyes. And I was given a chance to start over. This time, having seen his true colors, I will never be easily manipulated by him again. You need to control your diet carefully recently. I feel like you've gained weight again. This won't do. Do you understand? My ideal type is a girl who weighs no more than 100 gin. My husband, Blake, was chattering away at me. I looked at him in surprise. How could this be? Didn't I die? Moreover, the husband in front of me looked only in his 20s. How could that be possible? I ran to the mirror in surprise. When I saw my young face in the mirror, I was completely stunned. I was reborn. I had returned to my 20s. No longer the emaciated and sickly body I once had. For a moment, I was filled with tears. Thank goodness. God has given me another chance. Blake was confused by my sudden action and became a bit unhappy when he realized what was going on. Cora, what are you doing? I'm talking to you. I looked at Blake in front of me. He still had that arrogant look. Fortunately, having fulfilled Lee, I'm only in my 20s now and haven't married him yet. This time, I must change my life. In my previous life, Blake set many rules for me, such as coming home before 10 o'clock, being prohibited from drinking with male friends, and having to talk on the phone before going to bed, and so on. I could accept all these. Except for the requirement of losing weight. Because his ideal type was a girl weighing no more than 100 gin. He made me lose weight. I had to go to my boyfriend's house every week for a weight check. I remembered that in my previous life, I listened to Blake and strictly controlled my weight according to the diet plan he gave. When he ordered takeout and ate, I could only watch longingly and nibble on sweet potatoes and corn. As a result, over time, it led to hormonal imbalance. My periods became irregular, often delayed, and my skin lost its luster. In the end, it even caused infertility. When Blake learned about it, he simply comforted me. Unexpectedly, he turned around and found a woman outside and had a child with her. When I caught him, he was still so self-righteous. Cora, I don't want to be like this either. But you have to understand me. It is said that there are 3 types of unfilial conduct. And the worst is to have no descendants. Our Blake family has only one male heir in each generation. I can't let the family line end with me. How could I face my ancestors in the future? I already had a poor physical condition due to 2 years of weight loss. Coupled with the overwhelming anger, my health deteriorated rapidly. And I passed away at an early age. After my death, Blake couldn't wait to bring the woman and the child from outside back home. This time, having seen his true colors, I will never be easily manipulated by him again. Are you mute? Are you ignoring me? Blake's attitude was terrible. I don't know what blinded me in my previous life, but I actually married him in the end. Since I want to change my own destiny, I naturally have to start by refusing to lose weight. I only weighed 110 gin originally, which was within the range of the standard weight, and there was no real need for me to lose weight. I remembered that at this time in my previous life, I had just come back from the hospital because losing weight had caused hormonal imbalance. I rummaged through my bag and, sure enough, found my medical record in it. Blake, let's have a talk. I have something to say to you. I had a serious attitude and a solemn expression on my face. Blake looked at me in confusion. After all, I rarely spoke to him in this tone. Usually, I just did whatever he said. I wasn't feeling well before and went to the hospital. Because of losing weight. My hormones are out of balance. You've been through a lot. Then, what out a low sigh. He changed the subject. But, did you go to the hospital just because of losing weight? Isn't it because you're too sensitive and have accumulated a lot of stress? At the beginning of the hormonal imbalance in my previous life, because of Blake's words, I truly thought it was my own problem. And I was too sensitive. But now I don't think so. No, and I went to the hospital because I wasn't feeling well. The doctor even asked me if I had been losing weight excessively recently. The examination results showed that I have an unbalanced diet. The doctor told me to eat properly. The thing that you want me to lose weight and keep my weight within 100 jin can't go on anymore. Blake obviously didn't think so. Is it because you lost weight too severely? Have you been following the diet plan I gave you carefully for management? If you follow the diet plan I made strictly, it's impossible to be malnourished. Didn't I tell you to follow the diet plan? Diet plans also vary from person to person, and it's possible to lead to an unbalanced diet. My parents also said that I should pay more attention to my health. Leaving other things aside, I'm really tired. It would be nice if you could understand me. I politely expressed my request again. I'm doing this because I care about your health. I'm also very tired. I even specially made a diet plan for you. Isn't this a better way to pay attention to your health? I just came back from the hospital. Aren't you worried at all? The doctor said my health condition is not good. If you do as I say, your health shouldn't deteriorate. Blake looked self-righteous and spoke plausibly, still insisting on his own point of view and looking unyielding. In my previous life, I didn't think there was anything wrong with these words. But now, I vaguely feel that something is not right. Isn't this brainwashing me? Seeing that I couldn't reason with him, I decided to change my approach. Since words didn't work, I would show my determination to protest with my actions. I'm a bit hungry and want to have a meal. As I said this, I opened my phone and planned to order takeout. I would no longer follow the diet plan and no longer eat sweet potatoes and corn. Blake looked at me in disbelief. What? You're becoming more and more casual. Well, what can I do? When I'm hungry, I should eat. That's what the doctor said too. I spread my hands innocently. Aren't you supposed to be grateful to me for making you manage your figure? There's nothing to be grateful for at all. I don't want to lose weight anymore. It's not good for my health. Why are you like this today? You have such an attitude towards me. Is it my fault that you didn't manage your figure properly according to the diet plan? His words gave the impression that if I didn't do as he said, it was my fault. This is pure PUA. I only realized this after being reborn. Cora, you're really making me angry. If you weigh 110 jin, how are you going to meet people in the future? What kind of words are these? There's nothing wrong with weighing 110 jin. It's obviously a normal weight. But in his eyes, it's abnormal. Well, if I lose weight properly and become slim and beautiful, I can just find someone to meet casually. You won't even let me eat. Is there any point in meeting you? Blake was stunned for a moment. It seemed that he didn't expect me to say such things. After all, I always did what he asked. It took him a long time to react. What are you talking nonsense about? You can't even manage your diet. At this weight, who are you going to meet? How can you date others when you're so fat? I'm doing this for your own good. Besides me, who else would want you? I tried to help you with losing weight. But in the end, is it my fault? I just wasted my time and energy for nothing. I've said that I don't want to lose weight anymore. This is clearly your wishful thinking. Even when I wasn't feeling well and went to the hospital, you didn't worry at all. Is this what a boyfriend should do? Moreover, you said that the reason I'm like this is because I didn't follow the diet plan properly and kept blaming me. Blake's face turned ugly. I'm speechless. When you say such things, I also feel very embarrassed. Even now, he still thought it was all my fault. He simply couldn't put himself in my shoes. Since that's the case, I should also let him feel how I feel. Since he has an ideal type, why can't I have an ideal type? My eyes are the yardstick. As far as I can tell, you're still far from meeting my requirements for an ideal type. From now on, you have to come to my house every week for a checkup. I'll customize some aphrodisiacs for you. And you just drink them as I tell you. If you don't meet my requirements, you have to keep drinking them. Blake looked at me in shock. You're crazy. Do you know what you're saying? I at least tried to become your ideal type before. Why can't you make an effort to become my ideal type? You also feel embarrassed, right? When you asked me to lose weight and keep my weight within 100 jin. I felt the same way as you do now. I thought you were crazy. Cora, don't push your luck. Believe it or not, I'll break up with you. How can you date others like this? I'm doing this for your own good. Besides me, who else would want you? Forget it. Since you insist on breaking up, then let's break up. To be honest, I've been putting up with you for a long time. I've been holding back and didn't say anything before because I was afraid of hurting your pride. Blake suddenly became furious. And his whole face turned red. Just like a cooked shrimp. What nonsense are you talking about? If you don't want to lose weight, then don't. Why are you launching a personal attack? I was just joking. I didn't really want to break up with you. Since you don't want to lose weight, then forget it. We can just get along as we used to. Well, is this okay now? I shook my head. What on earth are you still not satisfied with? I'm not joking. You really can't do it. You can't give me a fulfilling sex life. I don't want to live like a widow anymore. Let's break up. I don't agree. I said I don't agree. Cora, did you hear me? Blake flew into a rage. Unless you listen to me. Take aphrodisiac pills and come to my house for a checkup every week. I can consider not breaking up. I looked at him calmly, showing my firm attitude. Whether he agrees or not, it's a good result for me. If he doesn't agree, we can just break up. Anyway, heading fulfilled my obsession. I don't want to date him anymore. If he agrees, I can just take this opportunity to torture him a bit, and let him feel the pain of once asking me to lose weight according to a diet plan. Blake looked torn and finally made his final decision. Then I'll take the aphrodisiac pills. It's just such a small request. What's the big deal? I nodded, hoping he wouldn't regret it in the future. I found an old Chinese doctor and got a prescription for aphrodisiacs. I handed it to Blake and told him to make sure to get the medicine and decoct it according to the method on the prescription to regulate his body. The smell of traditional Chinese medicine is not pleasant, especially when several kinds are mixed together. I specifically told the old Chinese doctor to prescribe some bitter-tasting traditional Chinese medicines. As bitter as possible. It's okay. Just prescribe them. The more bitter, the better. Every time Blake took the medicine, he looked as if he was facing a great enemy. People who didn't know might think he was drinking poison. Compared with the hardships I experienced in my previous life, these hardships were nothing. After taking the aphrodisiac pills, Blake came close to me and smiled lasciviously. After all, we were husband and wife for many years in my previous life. I could even guess what he was thinking with my toes. Before he could open his mouth, I blurted out first. No way. His face immediately fell. Why? I've already done as you said. No means no. The old Chinese doctor said that during the treatment period, it's not allowed, as it will affect the efficacy of the medicine. Do you want to extend the treatment period and keep drinking these traditional Chinese medicines? Well, Blake looked hesitant and rubbed his hair irritably. Got it. Of course. This was just an excuse I made up to fob him off. Just thinking about how he had an affair with another woman after he learned that I had difficulty getting pregnant in my previous life made me feel sick. Although he really hasn't cheated now. After experiencing what happened in my previous life, my feelings for him are no longer the same as before. Things that I couldn't understand clearly before are now gradually becoming clear to me. Maybe this is what they mean by the onlooker sees most of the game. By detaching myself from this relationship, I can finally make the most rational judgment. After getting married to Blake in my previous life, he said that the man should be the breadwinner outside and the woman should take care of the home. He asked me to quit my job and stay at home. Although I was a bit reluctant in my heart, in order to be with him properly, I finally agreed and became a housewife, dealing with daily necessities like firewood, rice, oil, and salt every day. Gradually, I also had fewer contacts with my friends. It seemed that the center of my life revolved around Blake. Every day, I just cooked and waited for him to come home from work. Such a boring and dull life lasted for decades. Now that I've been reborn, None of this has happened yet. In this life, I must work hard and will never resign casually again. 2 months later. Blake finally couldn't hold on anymore. Cora, please have mercy on me. Look at this medicine. Is this something a person should drink? I won't drink it anymore. I can't stand it. Since I started drinking this medicine, I feel that my mental state is not good. It has a great impact on my health. Since you cannot lose weight, then I don't want to drink this medicine either. Let's call it even. He lay down on the ground and started to act shamelessly. Okay. I readily agreed. Blake immediately got up from the ground, his face full of surprise. Are you serious? After all, I had been so determined before. Serious? I nodded. Seeing me nod, Blake finally showed a sinister smile. Since I don't have to drink this medicine anymore, then I don't have to abstain from sex either. Can we? No. I still said the same thing. Blake's face immediately turned cold. Why? You've already agreed that I don't have to drink the medicine. Besides, we haven't had sex for so long. Don't you miss me? Miss you? I frowned. Casually glanced at his lower body. And then let out a sigh. Sigh. He immediately flew into a rage. Cora, what do you mean? I've been drinking traditional Chinese medicine for 2 months. I'm definitely different from before. How do you know if you don't try? I opened the drawer and took out a ruler from it. Since you say you're different from before, then take off your pants first and let me measure it. Blake tightly covered his crotch and took a step back, defending his last bit of dignity. Cora, what are you doing? Let's talk properly. Okay? It seems that you haven't met my requirements. That doesn't mean everything. Blake made a final struggle and tried hard to defend himself, but I remained unmoved. Seeing my attitude, he was not satisfied. Cora, what on earth do you mean? Does that mean we can't sleep together in the future? You can when you become my ideal type. You clearly know that's impossible. There's no such magic medicine in the world. Besides, which woman is like you? You're really crazy. You can't even be touched. Which man would want a woman like you? Think it through before you come to me again. After saying that, he slammed the door shut. I was actually quite happy. It was finally quiet. After Blake left, I went about my business as usual. Eating, sleeping, and working. He never sent me a single message or made a phone call. He started the Cold War mode. I used to be very afraid of him doing this. Afraid that he would leave me alone. Now I find that his leaving has no impact on me at all. I found that my life is still wonderful without him, and I'm even more relaxed and free than when I was with him. I don't have to worry about his mood all the time. And I don't have to report to him where I'm going. I can spend all my time and energy on myself. I'm genuinely happy. A week later, Blake, who had been in a cold war with me, couldn't stand it anymore and blocked my doorway. What do you mean? You haven't contacted me for a week. Are you doing it on purpose? Didn't we already break up? Why do we still need to contact each other? When Blake heard the words, break up, he looked at me in surprise. What are you talking about? When did we break up? Why don't I know? He probably still expected me to say some nice words to coax him like before. And then we could make up. But now, I don't want to coax him anymore. Don't 3 days of no contact between lovers mean a default breakup? We haven't contacted each other for a week. So naturally we've broken up. Cora. His face immediately darkened. Are you playing with me? I tilted my head innocently. Then why didn't you contact me for a week? Are you waiting for me to coax you? I covered my mouth in surprise and pretended to suddenly understand. Seeing that his little thought was exposed, Blake suddenly became furious. Stop talking nonsense. Waiting for you? Who do you think you are? Of course I'm not anyone to you. Since we've broken up, we're strangers. Then, let out a well sigh. Sir, please leave in front of my house. Otherwise, I'll call the security guard. I took a step forward and unceremoniously pushed Blake aside. It's great to have the strength of 110 gin. I smiled with satisfaction. I inserted the key into the lock, opened and closed the door in one smooth motion, and isolated him outside. Blake was completely stunned. The surprise on his face was clearly visible. It seemed that he didn't expect me to really turn against him without hesitation and dump him. A few seconds later, he seemed to finally react and started shouting through the door. "I don't agree. Cora," I said, "I don't agree. Do you hear me? How dare you decide to break up unilaterally? Do you even take me seriously?" "Of course not. I not only don't take you seriously, but I also plan to completely kick you out of my life." I contacted the security room and said that someone was making a lot of noise in front of my house and seriously affecting my rest. Soon a security guard came up and dragged Blake away. But it was obvious that he wouldn't swallow his anger so easily. Since the day I called the security guards to drive Blake away, he has been put on the blacklist of our community. And the security guards won't even let him in through the main gate. Blake was indignant. "On what grounds? I'm here to see my girlfriend. Who do you think you are to dare to stop me? Be careful, or I'll file a complaint against you." "Cora, I'm here. I've come to find you." The security guard gave him a disdainful look. "File a complaint against me? You're not even a resident of our community. Where are you going to file a complaint? If you have the ability, go ahead. No one is stopping you. No wonder your girlfriend doesn't want you. Look at you. So petty. You don't have the slightest bit of what a real man should be like." The security guard wasn't someone to be trifled with and didn't show Blake any kindness. This made Blake extremely angry. But unfortunately, he had no way to deal with the security guard. Seeing that he couldn't block me at my doorstep, he changed his strategy and waited downstairs at my company. After work, he stopped me. "Cora, I've finally caught up with you." "Hello, sir. Is there something you want from me?" I smiled and nodded politely. "Stop pretending. Don't think you can distance yourself from our relationship like this." "What relationship do we have?" "The relationship of former boyfriend and girlfriend. Of course. You know we're former boyfriend and girlfriend. So why are you still looking for me? What? Are you still hung up on our past relationship? How could that be? Don't flatter yourself. With someone like you, I wouldn't even want you if you were given to me for free. I'm telling you, the women who like me line up all the way from here to France." "Oh," I responded indifferently, with a flat tone, and casually fiddled with my nails. Blake became even angrier. "What kind of reaction is that? Do you think I'm joking with you? If that's the case, why are you still looking for me? You should be happy that so many women like you. If there's nothing else, can't you move aside? I'm very busy and don't have time to talk nonsense with you." I bypassed Blake and quickly walked towards the garage. He chased after me relentlessly. "Cora, you will definitely regret it. You won't be able to find a man like me even if you search with a lantern." "Regret? Of course I regret it. If time could be turned back and I could go back even earlier, I would definitely avoid Blake from the very beginning and never become his girlfriend. But it's not too late now. I'm still young. Aren't I? There are no wasted steps in life." Perhaps he couldn't accept that the woman who had always followed his lead and obeyed him without question suddenly stopped revolving around him. Blake started to show up downstairs at the company from time to time, trying hard to make his presence felt. I found his behavior rather novel. After all, in the past, it was always me going to find him. And there was never a time when he came to find me. For several consecutive days, he lingered downstairs at my company. I found him annoying and was too lazy to argue with him. After all, he was a stranger to me now. I didn't want to waste time on him. I had already wasted enough time on him in my previous life. So I avoided him and left the company through the back door and went to the garage, leaving him empty-handed. After failing to catch me several days in a row, Blake finally realized something was wrong and simply waited for me in the underground garage. You could say it was like waiting for a hare by the tree's stump. But this time, he didn't come alone. He came with another strange girl, obviously well prepared. He looked at me arrogantly, looking very proud, as if his tail was about to stick up to the sky. "See? I told you long ago that the girls who are chasing me line up all the way from here to France. Now you believe me, right?" I forced a smile and said for soulless words, "Congratulations. Is that all? Don't you have anything else to say to me?" If you come to your senses now, I'm magnanimous enough to overlook what happened before and give you another chance. After all, we were together for 2 years. There must be some affection between us. Come to one's senses? I've already come to my senses. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. I might as well have spent these 2 years on a dog. No need. Treat her well. After all, being with you, I'm sure she has suffered a lot of grievances. As I said this, I glanced at his crotch. And then pretended nothing had happened. Rolled up the car window. And drove away with a swish. In the rearview mirror, Blake looked very ugly and was furious. It seemed that he was once again provoked. Sigh. What can I do? The truth is always hard to hear. Since that day, Blake finally settled down. It seemed that he was stimulated by me and no longer waited for me at the company gate every day. I was glad to have some peace and quiet. I thought he should have figured it out and decided to give up pestering me and start a new life. I thought it was a good thing. A qualified ex-boyfriend should be like he's dead in my life. I gradually stopped thinking about him. And everything in my previous life seemed like a dream. Sometimes I would be a little dazed, wondering if all that was just a dream. Until I saw Blake again at a class reunion. My old classmates were behind the times and didn't know that Blake and I had broken up, so they arranged our seats together. It seems that being too considerate isn't always a good thing. Well, since I'm already here, and everyone will disperse in a few hours anyway, I'm too lazy to trouble my old classmates to change the seats for such a small matter. It's just a breakup. As long as I'm not embarrassed. It's others who will be embarrassed. Blake seemed much more normal this time. He glanced at me and then turned his head away, ignoring me. That's good. He's more likable when he shuts up, but I obviously underestimated him. The reason he was so quiet was that he was holding back something big. In the second half of the party, Blake suddenly stood up from his seat. Everyone, please be quiet for a moment. I have something very important that I want to take this opportunity to say. Everyone looked at him, curious about what he was going to say. And I also turned my head to look at him. The next second, he said something astonishing. I'm getting married. After saying that, he turned to look at me, staring straight at me, as if he was very curious about my reaction. I took a bite of the small cake in front of me, smiled, and nodded, acting as if nothing had happened. I still said the same thing. Congratulations. What's so great about getting married? Does he think he can hit me with this move? I've already experienced it in my previous life, and the experience wasn't good. My old classmates also congratulated him. I didn't expect you two to be getting married. From school uniforms to wedding dresses. I really envy you. I immediately refuted and distanced myself from our relationship. I couldn't let people misunderstand. For the rest of my life, I don't want to have anything to do with Blake anymore. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the one getting married to him. We broke up a long time ago. How could that be? Why? My old classmates didn't expect such a change and looked a little embarrassed. After seeing my reaction, Blake's face turned gloomy, as if there were dark clouds surrounding him. What else could it be? Of course it's because. As I said this, I lengthened my tone and my gaze stayed on Blake's lower body, looking as if I was implying something. Blake finally couldn't sit still and stepped between me and my old classmate. Excuse me. I have something to talk to her about. Please excuse us for a moment. As soon as the door of the private room closed and the figures of my old classmates disappeared from my sight, Blake finally said the first sentence to me today. He looked as if he was gnashing his teeth. Cora, what do you mean? You embarrassed me in public. I didn't say anything at all. I'm getting married. I know. I have no problem with my ears. I heard it in the private room just now. Congratulations. Is that all you have to say? I said I'm getting married to someone else. And the bride isn't you. I don't believe you can be this calm. You're just pretending. I know you. You must be feeling extremely sad inside. I have to say that Blake knew the old me very well. If it were the old me saying these words, without a doubt, I would be forcing a smile. But now, I'm sincere. However, considering our current relationship, I don't think there's any need to explain to him. And with his character, Even if I did explain, he wouldn't listen. Alright. Is there anything else? If not, I'll go back. After saying that, I turned to leave, but Blake grabbed the hem of my clothes, looking hesitant to speak. Cora, are you serious? Serious about what? It's been such a long time since we broke up. Haven't you cooled down yet? I admit that I was thinking of having you coax me at that time. So I ignored you for a week. But in the end, you wanted to break up with me. To be honest, I was really angry. But now when I look back, it's not a big deal. And you don't have a boyfriend now. Isn't it because you still can't forget me? Since that's the case, let's get back together. Hearing his words, I forcefully pulled my clothes corner out of his hand. Are you kidding me? You're about to get married, yet you're saying you want to get back together with me. Blake, have you lost your mind? Besides, whether I have a boyfriend or not is my own business. I can date if I want to, and not date if I don't want to. It has nothing to do with you. Stop being so self-absorbed. You. How can you talk like that? So rude. Well, I'll be honest with you now. That thing about getting married was just something I made up. I just wanted to deflate your arrogance. Who knew you'd have such an attitude? Is this okay now? I've told you the truth. Don't push your luck any further. Push my luck? As expected, a leopard can't change its spots. No matter how much Blake tries to hide it, he can't hide that superior attitude deep in his bones. I've experienced it once in my last life, and I'm not going to do it again in this life. What's there to miss about a man who betrayed me just because I had difficulty getting pregnant? Even if he's speaking nicely to me now, it's just to make me relent and agree to get back together. Once I really get back together with him, he'll go back to being that annoying person he used to be. It's impossible. I didn't want to say another word to him, and I turned around and went back to the private room. But he wouldn't give up and followed me closely. Why? Cora? Don't be too unreasonable. I've already been so humble. What else do you want from me? Nothing. No one asked you to be humble. Stay away from me. A qualified ex-boyfriend should be like he's dead. Don't hang around me when you have nothing to do. You're really an eyesore. Are you really determined? You really won't get back together with me? Yes. I nodded firmly. If I were to be with Blake again, what would be the point of my rebirth? The reason heaven gave me this chance is to let me make different choices and live a different life. Isn't it? So this time, I will never allow myself to compromise. Blake was really angry this time. He originally thought that I would be grateful and agree to get back together with him. He didn't expect that the situation would turn out like this and that I would reject him again. Because I rejected him, he became furious and started to launch a fierce revenge on me. Sure enough, his true nature was revealed. He started to crazily scold me in the classmate group, saying all kinds of bad things about me, trying to ruin my reputation. Cora is really a crazy woman. Do you know that? She's basically a pervert. She forces me to drink bitter traditional Chinese medicine every day. If I don't drink it, she threatens to break up with me. Not only that, I'm not even allowed to touch her. It makes me seem like a bad person. Appetite and sex are human nature. Is it really that hard to understand? I'm not a monk. What's even more excessive is that just because I didn't contact her for a week, she unilaterally informed me that we were breaking up. Where's the logic in that? What a joke. Soon he was muted by the group owner because the group owner had a better relationship with me. And I had told the group owner the whole story. The group owner explained things for me in the group. And the classmates also showed their understanding. I see. I knew Cora wasn't that kind of person. I really didn't misjudge her. It's not nice to speak of others like this after a breakup. Cora has never said a bad word about you. You can tell a person's character from how they act after a breakup. Seeing that he couldn't ruin my reputation among the classmates, he started to do other things. After work, I found that the window of my car parked in the underground garage had been smashed. Through the surveillance, I identified the culprit. Sure enough, it was no one else but Blake. However, I didn't call the police immediately. Instead, I quietly kept the surveillance video and paid to repair the window myself. A few days later, my car window was smashed again. I still paid for it myself. And this repeated. Until the 5th time. I finally called the police. And the police quickly brought Blake to the police station. Blake looked like he didn't care about anything. I smashed it. So what? The policeman frowned and looked at him speechless. Lie. Look at your attitude. You smashed someone else's car window, and you're asking so what? She wouldn't agree to get back together with me. If she had agreed, why would I have smashed her car window? Isn't this her fault? It was really difficult for the policeman to deal with this unreasonable guy. Blake, what car? Cut the crap. Let's talk about it. How are you going to compensate? Blake crossed his legs and said confidently. Compensate for what? I'm not compensating. I don't have the money. It's just smashing a glass. What's the big deal? If you have the guts. Sue me. Fine. Don't regret it. I didn't bother to argue with him. Blake looked fearless. But soon. He couldn't laugh anymore. The price appraisal department appraised the loss. And the appraisal result showed that the loss exceeded 5,000 yuan. This case of smashing the glass was classified as a criminal case. No. Blake was no longer calm. What? 5,000 yuan? I just smashed a piece of glass. How could it be 5,000? How could it become a criminal case? This is a rip-off. I protest. I demand a reprisal. Blake. Smashing one piece of glass certainly doesn't cost 5,000 yuan. But didn't you forget that you smashed it several times? When you add them up, it exceeds 5,000 yuan. I thoughtfully reminded him. The reason I let him go those previous times wasn't because I was soft-hearted or nostalgic. It was because I planned to settle all the old and new scores together. Teach him a good lesson. And make him remember. The policeman patiently explained to him. Because the final appraisal result determines the nature of the case. If, after appraisal, the loss exceeds 5,000 yuan, then this case of smashing the glass is a criminal case. If it doesn't exceed, it's a public security case. Since you don't want to compensate, then the court will have to make a judgment on you. You better hope for the best. Hearing what I said, and with the policeman's explanation just now, Blake was a bit panicked and immediately put down his crossed legs. Come on. Let's talk it over. I'll compensate however much it is. We can negotiate. It's too late. I coldly threw these 2 words at him. After the court's judgment, Blake had to serve a 1-year prison sentence for the crime of intentional destruction of property. 1 year is neither too long nor too short, and it's enough for him to suffer. I finally got back to my peaceful life. As for whether he still doesn't learn his lesson after a year, and comes out to cause trouble for me again, I don't mind playing with him some more. I'll deal with whatever comes my way. I'm not someone to be bullied easily. Blake let out a low sigh. I'll definitely accompany you to the end. The end.